We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Look at you, brother. Not Jerry. I want you to say what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
Hello, Newman. Hello, everyone. March is over, but the Final Four is here, down in New Orleans. Here we are, Newman. Villanova, Kansas, the North Carolina, and Duke. The Coach K parade is not over. Are you sick to your stomach yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sick of this.
Now, I was just thinking about this before we get into the games. Is New Orleans your favorite party city in America?
Probably. Yeah.
It's up there with Nashville. It's up there with Vegas. But New Orleans, for me, those are my kind of people. Those are my kind of parties.
QS is a lot of fun too. But yeah, New
QS
Orleans is still my my preferred destination, I think.
But then I was looking at the schools, and none of these schools scream party schools. I don't think any of these fan bases are going to be tearing off the roof of patios or Cat's Meow this weekend.
No, I mean, Villanova is like a Catholic school in Philadelphia, right? Like Pennsylvania or whatever. North Carolina and Duke are both kind of uppity themselves. And then I don't know what Kansas is really like down there. And I mean, their fans are passionate about Kansas basketball, but I don't think they're really big partiers. So
no, not the party scene in Kansas, certainly. But the TV ratings have got to love this, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are brands.
Yeah. So all of these teams have won within the last 8 years or something, I think is what I was told. So yeah, it's it provides for a lack of parity there in college basketball.
Still not as bad as college football. As bad as college football. So here's the thing that's been brewing in the Brister household. Something that's been a topic of debate in the Brister group chat. Are these four teams blue bloods?
3 of them are.
That's the debate. Has Villanova graduated to blue blood status? I would say yes.
So
my wife wants to call them new blood,
yes,
which I don't like the sound of that.
That's a more appropriate term for them, as a new blood, is in my opinion. And as per usual, your wife is right.
Just because you guys like her more. I think Villanova.
Everyone likes her more. What do you mean, you guys? Your mom likes her more.
It's not a lie. My brothers, my friends. That's not what this podcast is about. But yeah, I mean, again, TV ratings are going to absolutely kill in this game. New Orleans, always a great setting, and Vegas reasonably thinks these are going to be two good games. Both spreads are -4. I don't remember if I've ever seen that, right? Especially when you got a seed as high as 8, right? I mean, for an 8 seed to only be +4 is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously a pretty unusual 8 seed. North Carolina was on the cusp of not making this tournament. They did
in January. They were not. In January, they were not. Then they got hot in February.
They did play really well down the stretch. Obviously, making a deep run in the ACC tournament. Although we've been told that the tournament doesn't really matter, despite Virginia Tech, whatever. Yeah. Virginia Tech gets in only because they win a tournament, so it matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter for seeding, apparently. So that being the case, North Carolina, they definitely played well down the stretch. And this is a team that feels like it's hitting its stride. So they have a chance here.
Brandon Brister, hot take. Has North Carolina had the easiest path to the Final Four in the past 10 years?
No, it would definitely go to whatever Duke team won the last national championship, because Duke always gets an easy path when they win it. That's the reason they win. It's a very Coach K skewed tournament friendly seeding system that they have.
Yes. Alrighty. Anything else about the Final Four, about the New Orleans, about the tournament before we jump into these games?
Well, so I'm sure nobody's heard this. This will be the first time that Duke and North Carolina have ever played in the tournament. So that hasn't been talked about by anyone else. So
I've muted it.
That, right?
I've muted those tweets on Twitter. I cannot hear it anymore. I've muted Coach K. I wasn't a big mute guy before this week. This week's been pretty insufferable to consume college basketball content. It's my second favorite sport, and yet it's been nauseating. It's been absolute. I don't ever want to hear Jay Billis talk ever again. Like, I'm done.
He brings a lot of insight and can bring a very, different perspective. Sometimes he does have the law background and all that other stuff, but he also is super easily willing to contradict himself, as we've seen with the whole Buddy Boeheim punching thing, among others. And I don't know, he has this magnanimous tone to him that is absolutely infuriating.
Yes. And that's putting it mildly. You took it soft on Jay. Anyways, let's jump into these games because we differ quite a bit, I think, on both of these games. I think the first one is the better one. Number 2 Villanova playing number 1 Kansas. Kansas has the 4-point spread, but there is significant advantages, I believe, on the Villanova side, and that's why I'm taking Villanova. They have a better coach. They have the best guard, and they have the best defense. If you give me the better coach, the better guard, and the better defense, I think that's a winning strategy. I'm taking Villanova plus 160, not a lot of juice. If you want to go safe, take the plus 4. But I'm taking Villanova because of what they did against Houston. The way they shut down Jamal Shed, the way they shut down Kyler Edwards, insanely impressive. I think Ajaj, the best player for Kansas, has had a rough tournament. Braun's had a rough tournament. Remy Martin's had a tough tournament. They're not going to turn it around against this Villanova defense. The loss of Justin Moore really hurts on the wing. But Kansas doesn't really have any active wings, really. They're a guard and big man focused team. So give me Jay Wright and the blue blood of Villanova to get to the championship game.
Yeah, so I don't know that we disagree here. I do think that Villanova has a really good chance to win this game. The new blood Villanova with, Connor Gillespie being everything that embodies Villanova. I do think Jay Wright's a better coach. I don't think it's a significant advantage.
Bill Self can get the best players money can buy. He's not a good in-game coach. He's John Calipari light. Calipari's a better coach than Bill Self. Bill Self just, again, works in the gray. I don't like Bill Self at all, if you can't tell.
Yeah, that's clear. There is a reason that Kansas wins one of the toughest conferences in basketball almost every year. This year, not excluding. Agbaji has not played well throughout this tournament for the most part.
Extremely passive.
And Connor Gillespie has. So you got the two front men for these teams going at very different directions, it seems. And I think, honestly, there's going to be a lot of money on Villanova in this game, especially from the sharp end. I think that's why the line is what it is. And I think that there's a very good chance that Villanova wins this game. I kind of expect it almost. I think they're better guards. I disagree with your point about Houston. Obviously, that game was pretty close. And I think that ultimately came down to Houston just had a really bad day shooting. Now, that's not to say that Villanova's defense doesn't deserve some credit for that, but Kansas doesn't have anybody that can shoot like that, like Houston normally does. So realistically, you got to shut down Remy Martin shooting, and you're kind of there. So yeah, I think we're actually both on Villanova here. And I definitely like the juice play on that, taking a money line. So
So do I. So do I.
And we'll talk about some parlay action here at the end once we cover the other game.
Here's two guys that no one has heard of if you don't follow Big East or Villanova basketball. First is who's going to be taking all of Justin Moore's minutes. That's Eric Dixon. He had a huge game when Justin Moore missed a couple games during the season, specifically against UConn. So Eric Dixon has played big minutes during the season, so it's not like they don't have anyone. And then there's a name you can't forget from their last run, which is Archie Diacono.
Yeah.
Chris Arcidiacono is a junior. He has the winning pedigree. He only plays about 10 minutes a game, but Villanova only goes about 6 or 7 deep. So this kid's going to get a lot of minutes, and it's going to be one on the defensive end. So Dixon and Arcidiacono, I think, are X factors in this game.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to what you're talking about when Dixon stepped in for Chris Moore, right?
Justin
Moore. Moore, his biggest impact for Villanova is actually on the defensive end. They don't even need Dixon to score. So if he does provide any scoring, that's kind of extra, but you're going to I expect Villanova to use their bench a little bit more in this game, kind of throw some numbers at Agbaji. And I mean, that being the case, like I said, I really like Villanova here. So I would not be surprised if they win this game, but I think that you are underrating Bill Self's ability to make adjustments there a little bit, and that's going to keep Kansas in this game. So if they do wind up winning, it's probably going to come down to just Agbaji finally stepping up and making some shots.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know I'm going to rip North Carolina on who they played, but Kansas played Miami, they played Providence, they played Creighton, and they played Texas Southern.
Yeah,
again, they're a 1 seed. They should get that draw. Right? That's a 1 seed draw.
Sure, but that's also 3 double-digit seeds. Or I'm sorry, Creighton was not a double-digit seed, but
I mean, pretty much, right? Creighton was missing their 2 best players.
Yeah.
So because Cal Brenner went out in the first round.
And they still get close against Creighton. Creighton did against Kansas.
Kansas has not been impressive. They won by 26 against Miami, but they were down 6 at halftime. Right? I mean, Kansas has not been impressive. Villanova is my play of the day. There's only 2 possible plays, but again, we're on the same page here. Yeah. Now let's get into. I'm going to call it a Newman bias. You probably won't, but let's jump into the.
No, I'll wholeheartedly admit I'm absolutely rooting for Carolina. I do not want to see Duke and any of the shit show with Coach K come out. So I definitely am going to take that angle, and you can call it bias if you want. It doesn't mean I'm wrong.
So let's go into this again.
Yeah.
Who has the better coach?
I mean, clearly, obviously, you would have to say that Coach K is the better coach because of all his years of experience. Obviously, he's the number 1 or all-time winningest coach too. But yeah, so he's a better coach.
Who has the number 1 player on the court?
Duke definitely has the best player on the court in Paolo Banchero.
Who has more NBA talent?
Probably Duke. Yeah.
So what does UNC have?
UNC has better guard play.
Jeremy Roach, I would argue, is the best guard. Now Duke doesn't really play a second guard. They kind of have AJ Griffin kind of play that hybrid wing role. This is a very wing-oriented team. You got Keels coming off the bench. He's more of a 3-point shooter guy than he is really a guard. So I would give you credit. I loved RJ Davis, who was originally committed to Pitt, then went to North Carolina. Caleb Love out of St. Louis. I loved him. I wanted him at IU, super bad. Guy's super talented.
So, but question for you on these guards. Question for you on these guards.
Yeah.
All right. So give me Duke's guards and tell me how many years they've been in Duke's system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tell me North Carolina's guards and tell me years how long they've been in North Carolina's system, which hasn't changed because you literally just had a successor from Roy Williams.
Yeah. I mean, I just you're right.
But when we talk about guard play, right? What do we always talk about? It's not just young guards, it's senior guards, experienced guards, right? And this North Carolina team has 2 experienced and really good guards. They also have Armando Bacot, who can give anyone who Duke has down low all the trouble they can handle. Okay, they have enough guys that they can cover you on the wing. They can shoot. This is going to be a good matchup. And it's not like they haven't played each other. They know all the little tricks that each other are going to run. Duke's not going to be able to, we're just going to switch to zone on Arkansas, and then they're not going to fucking be able to do it because they actually have the guards and they know how to play against Duke's zone because they've done it, and they've played against a team like Syracuse, who is also in the ACC and runs the same zone that Duke switches to, right?
You know I love guards. I never shut up about guards. This is my narrative. This is our show. I can talk about what I want to talk about. Who is stopping Paolo Banchero?
They don't have to stop him. You don't have to stop Paolo Banchero. That's not a factor. You don't have to stop him. He's going to get his. That's not a question. That's not the issue. If you can kind of prevent everyone else from really having a great game, though. And here's the other thing: who can stop Paolo Banchero? You just mentioned it. Roach, Griffin, all those other guys not getting in the ball, which sometimes happens, especially when you don't have quality guard play.
I like point forward Paolo Banchero. That is the best offense, is when he just goes and takes the ball at the top of the key.
He's better off ball.
He is, but you're right. They do sometimes phase him out of the offense because AJ Griffin and Roach are going to get their shots. That does tend to happen. Manek hasn't been the only reason, but Manek's played the best he ever has right now. There's no way he's going to have that sort of game against Banchero or Williams. Why There's not? Just no way. He's not going to be able to get that shot.
Question. When has Banchero ever played defense? He's not a great defender, or at least if he is a great defender, he hasn't shown it this year. Because
it's an option. He has the ability. He's athletic enough. He chooses to be a one-court player.
So let me ask you a question. If he chooses to actually play defense and starts putting in effort on that side of the ball, what makes you think he's going to also be able to put in that similar effort that he's normally giving you on the offensive side? Because he's probably not conditioned to do that if he has.
He's a 19-year-old kid and he's had 6 days off from playing basketball.
He's probably not conditioned to do that if he hasn't been doing it all year.
I think the X factor in this game isn't a guard. It's the big man, Mark Williams. Mark Williams has blocked everything under the sun. RJ Davis and Caleb Love are not going to be able to score in the paint. Mark Williams is going to cut that off. That means they're going to have to play their hero ball 3-point game, and neither one of them is a great 3-point shooter. Now they have been all tournament, whether it's been Manek, whether it's been Love, all of them have hit just absolutely insane shots. But Caleb Love, 33% 3-point shooter. RJ Davis, even worse, 32% 3-point shooter. Neither one, and they both have had bad games, both have had good games, but I think the shoe drops on this Cinderella. More of an 8 seed Cinderella than a name brand 8 seed. But again, I think this game isn't close, Newman. I am hammering Duke -4. I think this is a 6, 7, possibly 8-point game. I think it hovers between 5 to 10 points all game, simply because UNC is going to will themselves to keep this thing close, and because Duke sometimes plays defense optional. But I do think Duke covers. When you score 90 points a game, you got some room. I think Duke wins this by multiple possessions.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Duke may win this game, but North Carolina is going to keep it close.
What's close is everyone wants to know. The listeners want to know, is it 4 points close?
They're going to cover. I think North Carolina covers at minimum. Obviously, I'm hoping that they win this game outright. I think it comes down to, a couple key baskets here and there. Is going to be the difference in this game. But note to watch also, any of this can be immediately thrown out if for some reason the officiating just absolutely favors Duke in an unspectacular fashion, which is known to happen, especially considering they're probably trying to pump Coach K cock down everyone's throat again, and force it into the national championship game. So
I've seen this all over social media too. The conspiracy that this has been rigged. The UNC Duke matchup has absolutely been the mill that has been churning the NCAA's pockets. So with that being said, who do you think the NCAA wants in here? Do you think they want Kansas Duke?
Absolutely. Yeah.
2 national brands?
Mm-hmm.
So you're picking, got to make a pick. So you're picking North Carolina to cover. Are you picking Duke to win or Duke to cover? Or
I'm picking North Carolina to cover.
North Carolina to cover. All right. So you know what that means? That means it's parlay time. Because guess what I didn't do last Saturday morning?
Hold on. We had a little bit of a discussion about this, and I want to bring this up here since we were chatting about it earlier. You wanted to point out the fact that North Carolina played a really weak schedule so far in this tournament. So let's go ahead and go over that and compare it to what Duke has faced. Okay, let's go. So first round, Duke plays against Cal State Fullerton, a 15 seed,
the worst team in the tournament,
one of the worst seeds in the tournament. North Carolina plays Marquette, pretty quality opponent.
Shaka Smart hasn't won a tournament game in a decade, but Marquette arguably shouldn't have been in. They were overseeded. But okay, sure. Yeah. But Marquette is better than Cal State Fullerton. Yes.
Significantly better, right? Sure. Is Marquette better than Michigan State? I think it's a reasonable
Michigan
question.
State is better.
Michigan State might be slightly better, but Marquette is definitely closer to Michigan State than they are to Cal State Fullerton. That's by a long shot. Baylor's second round opponent was North Carolina, who obviously North Carolina beat them. Not only did they beat them, they were absolutely dominating that game until Caleb Love gets thrown out on this ridiculous flagrant 2, and then Baylor decides to go press, making it interesting. But Baylor still winds up losing the game to North Carolina. Right? Baylor is the best team that either of these two teams have faced in the tournament, correct?
I'd say Texas A&M is better than Baylor.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. There is no way that Texas A&M is better than Baylor, okay? Where did they both finish seeded? What seed is Texas A&M?
A 3 seed in the SEC.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. You're talking about Texas Tech, not Texas A&M.
Texas Tech, yes. Texas A&M just won the NIT. Sorry, Texas Tech.
So, true or false? Texas Tech and Baylor play in the same conference.
They do. Yep.
Okay. and neither of them won it because Kansas won the conference.
Yes.
I think that they're pretty fairly matched teams, but I'm still taking Baylor with the championship pedigree over Texas Tech in this point. Okay.
I disagree. I think Texas Tech is better, especially with the injury-riddled Baylor. Baylor is missing 2 starters. Now, the guy that replaced the starter, Mo Thamba, and it turned out to be incredible. But no, I would take Texas Tech over Baylor.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Okay, let's move on to the next round.
Arkansas or UCLA?
I mean, UCLA is the better team. They made a Final Four run last year, right?
I'd say Arkansas is a better team this year.
And they have your boy Mick Cronin. I mean, they're probably on par. So St. Peter's.
Look what Duke did to JD Notae.
Okay, so let's not worry about where they played these games. Let's talk about who they actually played. Right? Cal State Fullerton or St. Peter's? Who you got?
Gotta go the Peacocks.
Okay,
gotta go the Peacocks.
So I'll give you Michigan State by a slim margin over Marquette. We're gonna call Baylor and Texas Tech a wash. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And then Arkansas, UCLA a wash. So really, has UNC played a much softer schedule than Duke? Come on, dude. No, there's no way you can actually make that argument. And
you know what?
Ear to ear.
You know this is going to be on my gravestone. So hey, if this argument, a push isn't a loss. You know what? I didn't lose this argument. This argument was a push.
Your argument was that UNC had not played a tough schedule and Duke had, and that is false. That is a false narrative. Good luck. Thank you very much.
I love it. You're wrong. North Carolina had an easy route. Duke had the second hardest route behind Villanova.
Yeah, right.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And I'm
sticking to it.
I bet you would.
Now, during the football season, we always have Brandon's parlays. And we're going to get into it because, as Newman pointed out, there's only 4 options that this can go. There's only 4 options to skew.
I mean, 4 regular options. You could get crazy and really skew some stuff up in there. There's plenty of things you could dance with, but 4 main options.
And let me go back to something that I need to mention. We brought up 2 different parlays.
Mm-hmm.
One, which was an insane, like if St. Peter's won, like a 4,400 parlay. And then another one that was a plus 1,200 parlay that would have hit if I actually went through with the parlay. So I'm going to consider that we hit that, even though neither one of us actually put money on it. You would have if you would have had the ability, but I did not. I did not trust our analysts to do it, but I'm going to trust it this time. So here we go. I am doing Villanova outright.
Okay.
And I'm doing Duke -4. That pays out at plus 400. That's 5-1. $10 bet wins you 50.
It's pretty nice.
Pretty nice. What are you going with, sir?
I'm going to go with exactly what I gave you here today. I'm going to take Villanova money line, and then I'm going to take UNC with the points.
UNC with the points. Since it's both +4, we're both at plus 400. So we're both 5-1. It's the same identical bet. We're going to see. We're going to see. Just real quick before we wrap up here, all lines are out for the game. If it's North Carolina, Villanova, Villanova's -1.5. If it's Duke, Villanova, Duke's a 4-point lead. If it's North Carolina, Kansas, Kansas is -4. And if it's what NCAA wants and Newman's conspiracy, Duke versus Kansas, Duke is a -1. I bet this will go to a pick'em by the time the game actually starts. So there we have it. Vegas thinks, again, these games are within a 1 to 4 point game. No matter the matchup, they're both a 4-point game. Man, do I wish I was in New Orleans, Newman. I need to get back. I haven't been back there since our Fearless Leaders Bachelor Party.
Yeah.
I need to get there ASAP.
Question on these games. Give me the over-unders for both.
Drastically different.
Yes.
Over-under in Villanova, Kansas, 133. I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
And then North Carolina, Duke, 152. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, that seems a little light to me. I
152 is just 76. One team's getting to 80.
Right. Yeah, I expect both teams to get to 80. So
yeah.
And then on the other side, I'd be surprised if both teams got over 60. So under 135, that's pretty good bet.
Yeah, there. I think that game lives between 55 and 65. Like I could see a 62, 58 game. For sure. No, I like the under and the over.
So if you're a parlay maniac, you can throw some of those into some of those parlays too.
Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what we got. Then we got, because it's going to be the same for both of us, plus 1,700, Newman. Plus 1,700 if you go Nova, win, under. Whoever you get, North Carolina, Duke, -4, +4, doesn't matter, over. That's plus 1,700. That means a whopper of a $10 bet. That means one Chipotle bowl gets you $180.
Yep.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yes, it is. All right, guys, that's all we got. That's our last show of the year. We will not be doing a national champ, or at least I won't be doing a national championship show. I will be on the road.
We'll be back come football season.
We will be back football season, and the podcast is coming back under a new name. Stay tuned. We got some fun stuff going for you as far as the podcast goes. New name, new outline, new segments. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. Until then, guys, go watch some sports and go Penguins. Big game today against the Lance, 3:00 ABC. That's what I'm doing. Newman, you got any sports watching plans today other than the Final Four?
Fuck Duke.
Always. All right. Later, Newman.
See you.
Bye.